Good afternoon. Or should I say, Akwaba? Akwaba Bishop. I hope you had a lovely lunch. Okay, so now, per the UN, okay, we have 13 different vulnerable groups, and women and children are part of it, and persons with disability being part of it. Now, today's topic is going to be bordered on women with disability and our unique issue. The main reason why I really am passionate about this topic is because, first of all, okay, sorry. Now, 1 minute, please. Okay, so basically we have 13 different vulnerable groups, and then women and children are part of them, as well as persons with disability. Now, women living with disabilities, we are seen having to battle with two things at the same time, what we call double jeopardy. That is what I call it anyway, because I mean, first of all, you're a woman on your left, and then you're a person with disability on the left, on the right. So in my language, we say that you're being slapped both sides, because you have to deal with being a person with disability and not being a woman. So today, we are here to talk about the intersection of women with disabilities and the role we play. Now, my panel members are very special, especially in a way that we all have disabilities. And so I pray and I hope that you enjoy this very discussion. Okay, so by tradition, we start from the right. So I'm going to give the floor to my lovely panelists to introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Elsie. My name is Cecilia Vuvuashale. I'm a person with lived experience of a mental health condition, trained mental health advocate, and I work as a programs assistant with Basic Needs Ghana, and I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much.
My name is Doris Ndebugri. I work with the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations as a program officer, but today I'm here on the ticket of Ghana Somubi Dwumadie.
My name is Linda Giba. I'm a deaf person, and I work with Ghana National Association of the Deaf. I'm the project lead for the mental health program, and I have my interpreter here, Jonathan, with me. Thank you.
So thank you so much, ladies, for being here. And I actually forgot to add that, okay, many people know me to be a legal advisor for SHWAT, but I'm here on the ticket of Ghana Somubi Dwumadie, which is a disability program, which is a disability program for both people with mental health conditions as well as any kind of disability. So there you go. Now, we all know that as Africans, we do have so many barriers, so many cultural barriers, which are actually ingrained. And some of these cultural barriers, like, oh, when you're born with cerebral palsy, you're not supposed to go to school, have access to, certain life opportunities. Now, my first question will go to my liabilities lead. As a person with a lived experience, how do we dismantle this culturally ingrained barrier to women with disabilities, so that we have access to life opportunities?
Thank you so much, Elsie. We've been discussing for the past 3 days now. We know disability in general is very broad, and I would just want to highlight on just a few of the limitations attached to being a woman and then having to deal with a disability. First of all, like you said, our cultural background do not permit us to, let me say, fly as much as we want to fly. It is kind of like limits us, even when it comes to decision making in the family. It limits us as women with disability, because you are seen as somebody having to deal with your disability. So in quotes, you are not useful when it comes to the decision making in the family, to the extent that it goes on to our personal life decisions would want to take. It goes on to our sexual and reproductive health rights. For example, you have a girl child, all right, growing up and having to deal with one disability or the other. She's seen as somebody who may not understand education surrounding her sexual and reproductive health rights. So she's been denied all of that education. She goes on into her youth, her adolescent youth, still being denied. Then to womanhood. Now, it gets to a point she may want to experience motherhood, just give birth to a child and experience motherhood. But then her dream is shut down and saying, look, you have to take care of yourself. How then do you take care of a baby? All right, there's another category that goes up and say, okay, fine, I have one child and I have experienced womanhood. Now I want to hold on, get other aspect of my life moving. Then she's also shut down and said, you are not already useful. The usefulness of you is producing and reproducing, and now you don't want to do that. All right, so that all these categories, I feel we share a common goal, our common grievance. That is our voices not being heard as much as we want to be heard. Then it comes to education. Women are limited already. Then you have to deal with disability. You are more limited. So it triples up the kind of limitation you have as a woman with disability. I want to use my experience, or my lived experience in this aspect. We're in a family where we have 2 males and the others being female. Now the focus was on the male child. And funny enough, the male child were not even interested in attaining higher education. But the female were interested. Me particularly, I was interested in that. I wanted to be a lecturer, and I still want to aspire to the academic ladder, which I'm still working progressively towards. Now, in this family, we were limited, the girls were limited in such an extent that I had 2 admissions into 2 universities. One came within a partial scholarship. But I was being denied. With the same old story, there's no money. But had it been the male child, that would have gone through. So these are some of the limitations you face as a woman, then coupling up with a woman with disability, which I think it should start by individual, psychological, mind changing. We need to amplify the change at the rate at which we are changing the narratives. If you are a parent and you have both sexes, all right, if you cannot afford to educate both of them, there should be a neutral reason for that. Not that because he is a male, so you can go, and she's the female, stay behind. No, we should start changing at the fast pace.
Okay. So I want to do a follow-up. Well, you just submitted. Now, what kind of initiative, what kind of strategies have you seen yourself work? Like, I really want a personalized, a personalized kind of like approach. It shouldn't be always like, article that. But I really want you to give me something that you have seen personally work.
Yeah. I believe it comes with community sensitization.
Okay.
Even though I haven't attained that level that I want to, as of now, I would say that my community understands disability, but mental health in particular, more because of my experience. Even though I was diagnosed, I didn't leave it there. I didn't say, okay, that's the end of my life. I went on to engage myself in volunteerism, groups that are into mental health, groups that are into anti-stigma campaigns to change the narratives. And I'll say that through that small circle of sensitization in my community, people see me now as a role model. When there are issues surrounding mental health, they call me, Cecilia, where can we get help? I direct them to the facility because I'm not a professional yet, of which my dream is to become a child psychologist. So I direct them, and I think that is a game changing for now, all right? But we can have it on a larger picture where there's a public education on disability in general, women with disability, challenges they face, how we can support them, starting from the family, the workplace, friends, institutions, and the globe as a whole. So I think that level is the next step. I think will work much more if we amplify it more in that sense. Because if we do that, going further in inculcating some of these disability training, disability education in our curriculum, I think we'll grow up to have the next generation of knowing that disability is not a curse. Yeah. Disability, as we have learned, is what? Exceptional ability. Yeah. That we can do more. You can achieve anything you want to do. Like they say in New York, you can achieve anything you want to achieve, right? Yes. Yeah. So the sky is not just the limit. Yeah. I think, yeah.
Thank you so much. So now, the issue of CSO, that is a civil society organization targeted at women with disability. Now, how are they able to even target the needs of women with disability? I mean, how did they get their data in the first place? Now, Doris is a lovely lady working for GFD, and today she's at my table. So Doris, So Doris, welcome again, and I would like for you to elaborate more on the question of CSO. Women organization. How are they able to reach the women with disabilities, and also how effective are they?
Okay, so thank you very much, Ajwa. Yes, my colleague here has already said a lot. Women with disability experience multiple of challenges on the account of their disability and their gender. So many a times society see persons with disabilities as a homogeneous group, and they treat us as such. Meanwhile, the needs of women with disability is totally different from men with disabilities and women without disabilities. So as CSOs, if we really want to understand or to ensure inclusion of women with disabilities in our programming, we need to understand that concept of the intersectionality between gender and disability. Because women with disability issues differ totally from those without disabilities, and even their counterparts with male with disabilities. So if women organizations are advocating for the inclusion or for equal opportunities for women and men, it is important that we have it in our mind that the issues of women with disabilities are totally different and that they need to be addressed as such. Many organizations or women organizations, when they are implementing programs and implementing activities, they will tell you that, yes, we are including women with disabilities. But if you want them to show statistics of women that have benefited from their programs, it is not there. So it is the responsibility of we, disability organizations and disability-focused NGOs to ensure that we educate, we sensitize these organizations to be more inclusive. If that is not done, women with disabilities issues will always be left behind. Because the woman with disability experience multiple or triple challenges as compared to the male or the female without disability. So for instance, if a female with disability is experiencing, or a woman without disability is experiencing discrimination, the female with disability will experience double. So let me just give an example. There was this lady who got married. She wasn't having a disability initially, but later was involved in an accident and had a disability. So the husband started misbehaving, bringing other women into their matrimonial home. And at a point, the issue became so worse that he had to bring all the ladies' things into the living room and then brought in the messes and created a different door entrance to their bedroom so that he and the mistress could be there. So you see the kind of experience, that discrimination and stigma that women with disability face. So as civil society organization, we need to be intentional about our inclusion.
Okay. Now, the issue of affirmative action. Now, most of us know affirmative action to be like, having a quota for politically oriented with. Like, say you have a quota for women to be voted in power. But then, what about having an affirmative action for women with disabilities? So I would love to hear more about affirmative action. Okay. A conscious one.
Okay, so thank you very much once again. Yes, so for organizations or civil society organizations to ensure that women with disabilities are included, we need to institute affirmative actions. And this can be done by putting in a quota system where beneficiaries or a quota or percentage of your beneficiaries will be women with disabilities. And then we need to monitor, because sometimes you don't just end at the ensuring that that quota system is there. You need to monitor to ensure that it is actually working and that what you have set out for yourself is actually being achieved. And then secondly, we need to have disaggregated data on women with disabilities who benefit from our programs. Just few months ago, we were invited by one women organization to a program, and they said their program was very inclusive and that women with disabilities were being targeted. So I asked how many women with disabilities were benefiting, and they said, oh, we didn't count, but they came. This is not the story we want to hear. We want to hear that, yes, 10 out of the 50 women that we targeted were women with disabilities. And then we also need to be intentional about our targeting. Let's involve women with disabilities in decision-making right from the design stage. We don't wait until when we are done designing the programs, then we go back to say, oh, we forgot about you. That is not acceptable. Then we need to also collaborate with disability organizations or disability-focused organizations or NGOs, so that by working with them, we'll get to understand their actual needs so that we'll be able to provide for them. Thank you.
Thank you. So supposing that I want to stand for MP for Adenta, And I can't see you, Charlie. Will you be able to help me?
Yeah, so yeah, so if you want to contest for an MP position, yes. Usually what the Federation does is to build your capacity and then to look for resources to be able to support you. Many a times we realize that most women with disabilities do not have that confidence to come out to say that, oh, I want to contest for this leadership position. So we try to build your capacity in that area for you to have that self-confidence in you to be able to contest. We let you know that you are the same as any other woman and that you can do it. Most of them, they have the confidence, but how to come out is the issue.
So, a question for the floor. How many of us would love... How many of us would love to become MPs? Oh, Charlie, she's yours. Okay.
Maybe Nina will want to become an MP one day.
But let's see what the future holds. So now, my next question, or my last question, thank God. Prior to this program, or prior to this conference, I had a lengthy talk with this lovely lady here called Linda. And she had such a tremendous contribution to make concerning women with disabilities, especially in the Upper East, right?
Upper West.
Charlie. in the Upper West region, and I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to be a spoiler. So let the lady do the talking herself. So Linda, my lovely Linda. But one more thing, I want to relocate to the north anyway. So that is for later. So Linda, I'm told that not being the Ghana National Association for the Deaf, not had actually been able to integrate a whole female board, an all-female board. How many of us here have board in our offices that are actually all female? Oh, oh, I see. Master, you're only one person, you don't count. So I'm Linda. So Linda, tell me, how has the president of this board, of this all-female board that we have in that, affected, leadership roles? Women with disability, getting the leadership role at the district level. How has this lovely initiative helped?
Thank you so much for this question. This is how NAD actually started. I think when we started with this project with Ghana Somubi, it was aimed at promoting and building the capacity of our women. So this project actually was focused on building the capacity, building their strength, making sure that they'll be able to take leadership position, making sure that they can make decisions for themselves and fight for their own rights. So we did a lot of training in Accra, Upper West, Central Region. We did a lot of advocacy for them. We even had to work on our constitution to make sure that women are included and they are visible in all our activities. So when that was done, we realized that now the women, their capacity was built, they're able to do a lot of things. Even some of them came out to start to compete the men for some leadership position. And for the first time, we have a lot of women being part of our board now. And also because of this, most of the women have been able to advocate for themselves. For example, Upper West, this is one of our biggest success stories. We have the women organization in Upper West, writing proposals to feed the future. I think it's an organization trying to advocate for themselves to get jobs and all that, which they didn't do that with any support from NAD. They did it by themselves, to support themselves, to support their families. So since NAD started this particular project, it has really helped. I think NAD has been there for over 50 years. We've had only men being at the board, only men being the president, the secretary, and all that. But for the first time, because of these activities, because of this advocacy work that we've done, we have a lot of women coming up for the first time to contest for this position. And we encourage them that they can do it. We give them the support that they need. Now, we've had a lot of women taking half of the seat of the board. And even in our policy, we have the women, our policy stating that at least this woman can, we can have a board for all women or half women. But we can't have a board all men. So it is there in our policy, and this has built actually their capacity. You see them coming out, taking leadership position. So that's what NAD has done so far.
Wow. So my next question would be that, naturally having a disability makes you feel insecure, makes you feel a bit insecure, a bit should I use the word lack of confidence? That is the word for it. Now, okay, fine. One word. What was the magic trick? What was the magic trick? What did they do? Now, that was so different to bring out the best enough to make these women stand out.
Yes, I think most of the times, I think we focused more on the training. We didn't just do one training and that was it, no. We did a lot of training, we motivated them, because even in the association, the training workshop that we did for them, especially building their capacity, we did that workshop several times, not even once, we never stopped. We did it continuously. We even added the men. And we know that we can't do one capacity training for one generation and that is it. Because there are still young women coming in every now and then. So we did it for the older people, the younger people, and the new ones that are coming up, so that they will all be, involved. We did workshops. We had some partners coming in. We have other companies coming in where we had like women leaders coming to talk to them. We also linked them with DTRT, which is a company in Accra, laid up, so that they can also get job opportunities, so that they won't feel like they are left out. They won't feel like that because they don't have any work to do, they can't take leadership positions. We joined them with other organizations. For instance, we worked with one of our projects that helped women get sanitary pads to build their confidence, so that some of them were using that as an excuse. We also have some partners from DDL, that is the Danish Deaf Association, coming in, having women with disability themselves coming in to serve as role models, to serve as mentors, to educate them. So all these things built their capacity. It wasn't just one day thing. It was consistent thing that we did, so that they will feel that they can also take that decisions. And I also provided them with a lot of opportunities. For instance, when we for instance, for mental health support. Exactly, like mental health, we all know is a very big issue. That recently, I think we signed an MOU with the Mental Health Authority in Accra, the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, so that if deaf people come to the hospital, they will provide them with sign language interpreters to also assist them. So we put in so many strategies, but I'm sharing just a few with you to see how far NAD has come.
All right. So, thank you so much, my ladies. Now, I would like to give a closing remark. Now, today's discussion should not end here. Women with disabilities, we are really, should I use the word? Today's discussion should not end here. Today's discussion has been very informative. It might not be me. No, it might not be you per se. You may be walking and everything, but later on in life, you might have a disability one way or another. And then you might be wondering, what are the avenues that I can do as a woman with a disability? Now, I want to leave you without saying a quote from one of the court, Audrey Law. Now, Audrey Law says that I remain unfree when one woman is not free, even though her shackles may be very different from mine. We all have our own disabilities. One physical, the other one you might not see it. So, in fact, let each of their voices be in your heart, in your mind. Please do not go here without making, a challenge to the status quo. Let it challenge it. Leave no woman behind. Thank you.
Okay, you guys gave a very inspiring and important debate and conversation here. I think that it was very refreshing to see the intersectionality between gender and disability, because there's a very big disparity. Cecilia, I really appreciated your example of how, women versus men are treated, especially when it comes to education and disability. And I feel like it's a very important topic that I commend all of you for doing a great job on. I'd like to open up the floor to any questions, if anyone has. Is there one? Don't see anyone. Questions? There's one. Thank you.
I beg you, please.
Thank you to our lovely panelists. I've learned a lot from your discussion. Please, I'd like to pick on the quota system you mentioned about. I want to ask, what way do you think we can go about creating a quota system, just like the way we have women in politics? We can create quota system for women with disabilities as well. How can we go about this?
Okay, so I believe that this question should be given to Doris. Yes.
Yes, so if we are talking about quota system, it's not only at the political level. You can have a quota system also at the organizational level. So for instance, you can say that our staff, we want to, maybe if you have job vacancies in your organization, let's say about 5, and you are planning to recruit only females or even males and females, then you can have a quota for women with disabilities. So for this number of people that we are recruiting, we think that we want to intentionally bring a number of persons with or women with disabilities. So in that case, the quota has started. So it's not only about the political level, but also at our organizational level, we can start something.
Linda would want to add up to what Doris just said. For instance, what NAD has done with the quota system. So recently, NAD changed its constitution that for all our leadership positions, we will have some positions left for only women. For instance, the vice president is automatically a woman. Even though the person have to be voted for, it starts to be a woman. Men cannot compete for the vice president. Also, we've made it in a way that there should be always half of the board being female. We can have a full female board or half male female board. We can't have a full male board. So that is something in the constitution. So it also helps women build their capacity to also come in for this position.
So it also has to do with policy. You have to ensure that your policy is speaking to your actions that you want to take.
Thank you. I just want to share a practical example of being intentional about this. So earlier today, I presented on the review processes of the District Assembly Common Fund for Persons with Disability. And in the revision, because we use evidence, we uncovered that the District Assembly Fund Management Committee across the country didn't have women on the committee, not to talk about women with disability. As part of being intentional, one of the recommended changes in the revised guideline was to ensure that the two representation from GFD, one of them should be a woman, and that should not be contested. And if it's coming from GFD, then obviously that woman is a woman with disability. So this is a practical example of being intentional about some of these things. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else?
I'm still waiting for my question too. So, my lady with the affirmative action now, the affirmative action question that you had. Now, I believe that one of the ways that we can actually enforce this action or this policy is the fact that, you know, women with disability, we need to put ourselves out there. Put yourself out there. Don't stay in the room and say, oh, I'm mute. Someone will just stay in my room and then, like, man are going to fall down from heaven, like what I told you this morning. You need to be proactive. Proactive. Listen, them saying no to you will not kill you. It won't kill you. I've never heard of no killing anybody. So, one of the things that I would admonish women with disability like myself is that put yourself out there. Because the future generation is looking up to you. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do now, your children are going to have to fill up the gap. With the generational, you know, with regression in a way. So that is my submission.
Are there any more questions? Anyone? Okay.
Sorry for delay. You started ahead of me from 18th. It's today that I just arrived. I may say disability is not inability. If someone is disability, it does not mean that the person cannot do anything. But I always shed tears when I see them in the street, when rain is beating them and sun is burning them and they don't have a shelter. I remember when our Savior says, even birds have nets, foxes have a hole, and even our ancient parents who don't have estates to stay inside, they were able to be in a cave, and no war kills them. Disability is not inability. We need to accommodate them now and feed them. God created them for purpose. They were created for a purpose. And that purpose, the time is up. To be bold is to stand for everybody. To even feed everybody, as you yourself, you've not eaten. Because there is a proverb in Akan, Obatai no sundi emi mabedi. And when you translate it into English, it simply means that a woman with a womb always cries for the feeding of his children. That's why we women, we are the God. We carry them in our womb, bring them, and feed them again. I love you, brothers, sisters, fathers, and my mothers. We are all one. We should love each other. Thank you.
My final words. Yeah, so this conference has been very educative, informative, and interesting, actually. So I just want to put it out there that we are all change agents. It starts with us. It starts with our family members, those around us, community, goes to region, national, and global. So change begins actually with us. You can do your own change in your own small way, your own advocacy, being mental health, being disability in general. Anywhere you find yourself, start with that change. And with one voice, I believe we'll achieve that common goal.
Okay, so my last words too. So my keyword is inclusion is about intention. You have to be intentional about inclusion. Otherwise, we may never get there. So like I earlier stated, the disability organizations, we need to raise that awareness and train people to ensure that they are inclusive enough. The Ghana Federation of Disability Organization provides such services where we can come and give you training on how to be inclusive, disability awareness, and then programming, so that when you are doing your programming, you'll be able to include persons with disabilities. Thank you.
Okay, if that wraps up all the questions. Okay, sorry. Okay, one more. Okay, after.
Okay, so I would also want to add that all of us here should try as much as possible to advocate for the rights for persons with disability. And saying that is meaning that bringing out every person with disability in our homes. We shouldn't lock them up. We should show them the love and the care. We should treat them just like the way you would treat any other person. Treat them the way you would want to be treated, because you don't know. Tomorrow it can be you. It is me today, and you think that, oh, because I'm a person with disability, you don't want anybody to see me. Tomorrow, what if it is you? Would you want the same treatment to be done to you? No. So let's treat each and everyone equally. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful presentation. For me, I know that law is an instrument for social change. We've been talking of how women have been disadvantaged, and disabled women being doubly disadvantaged as against their male counterparts. Now, how do we start engaging the legislators to come to forums like this, to hear and feel what we all feel? Because I'm sure that everybody in this room has bias for disability, in one way or the other. Either you are passionate because you've had someone who has been affected, is affected. Because for me, it can happen to anybody in his or her lifetime. You don't need to be born with it. Now, the legislators who are the ones promulgating laws should be part of this. I think there should be awareness creation to ensure that those in position of authority, those who make laws, and apart from making it, to ensure that such laws are enforced. The affirmative bills of ensuring that women, like in Nigeria, we have 35% enshrined in the law, even though it's not followed. But out of that 35%, how many disabled women? These are the things we should be discussing, and we should be intentional about it. If the legislators, I don't know, the people in the academia, we can create seminars for legislators to come and think out of the box on how to legislate for the vulnerable groups.
and the enforcement of such laws. I think by that doing, with time, we'll get there. Because I believe that when you embark on a journey and you've not gotten to your destination, you keep going. So this is a starting point. By engaging everybody, all hands will be on deck, and at the end of the day, we all will achieve. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me? Now, when she mentioned the law, Shannon, my spirit just jumped. Because maybe I'm a legal person, so really. Now, in Ghana, okay, we are very good at making laws. We have very nice ones, too. Very nice law. A very nice law. Like for instance, let me give you one of the beautiful laws that we have. For instance, if I give it and see that, after the 3 months, and see that my baby is not like, the 3 months is not enough. Oh yeah, I just go for doctor's report, take it to my HR, and then get additional 6 months, depending on your reason. And it is back by law. How many of us know that we have what we call paternity leave right here in Ghana? It is back by law in Ghana here, that when your wife gives birth, you have to stay with your wife. But how many of us know that? We don't know. The issue is not the making of the law. The law, in fact, they blame you. In fact, they're in volumes and art. But the issue is the agencies who are responsible for enforcing it. I don't want to be a bad person, but I have to be. Now, the National Council on Persons with Disabilities, as we speak right now, we are having a disability program in my office, at the head of it, in Accra. Now, this is the conference for persons with disabilities. I am going to send one person. Send one person to come and listen to how progressive we can work towards persons with disabilities. Not only for those people in the urban areas. What about the rural areas too? Everything is seen here in a car. Kumasi, Tamale, if you're lucky. The issue is, now let me give you a personal example. Shall there's more time maybe. One last example, okay? Now, it's personal, but I was nearly sexually violated in a car by a taxpayer from University of Ghana. This is my alma mater. So, from University of Ghana, I went after lectures. And University of Ghana, some of the lectures, late. So I was going home, not knowing that both of the car, okay, the door, I say that he intentionally spoiled the lock. Then before I realized, this man started, he punched me in the car. And I was screaming in the car. And I don't know where the energy came from. Then I just pushed it in, and I started, twisting the steering wheel. Now, when I went to the competition, you know the question that you were like, what is so palatable about you that you should be, sexually? That is the question. And up to date, it's been like almost 5 years now. And I've not even heard a word from the police. So the issue is the law enforcement agencies, bodies responsible for enforcing disability rights laws. I'm sorry, but they are lacking. And it's so sad when I go to the people that I'm supposed to be held back, and then they don't call me. Where do I go to? Should I go to my chief? Or maybe I should go to Antwerp. Should I go to Antoine? And I said, now where do I go to? Because the body who was supposed to be enforcing this law, I'm not doing so. You want to do it? Maybe next year then we go to Norway. Next year we have a much more lengthy discussion on this whole issue. I really hope you enjoy.
Who wants to?